When someone dies, we hope that they rest in peace. And all my life, all I've ever wanted to do is just live in peace. But that peace was denied to me and replaced with a kind of anxiety when I was a little girl, because at home and at school, I always had to obey my elders, and I had to look after my little sister. So I got to feel like the only way that I could get along with people and not have conflict was to do whatever anybody told me to do. And when I did that, I silenced my own voice, and I really slipped into this mindset of passivity. And I'd like to do a little impression of me when I was in a passive mindset. Are you ready? My life is so hard because I'm always looking after other people and doing what they want. And you know what other people do for me? Nothing. Just once I'd like somebody else to think about me, because what I've learned in life is that other people's needs and interests are more important than mine. And at one stage, I realized that I was making a conscious choice. And so, when I got into the workforce, I decided that I wasn't going to be the person that didn't get anything anymore. So I moved over to the dark side. I swung right over to being aggressive. And you know what aggressive is? Do you, punks? Means I get everything that I want. Because you know why? It is a dog-eat-dog world, isn't it? And I'm going to get you before you get me, so you can't get me before I get you. Got it? Oh, and if you don't like that, boo frickety who. You can call your mama. Because my needs and interests are more important than everybody else's. How do you like me so far? Not much, really, I suppose. And you know, when I was in my 30s, living in Vancouver, I became aware that people didn't like me much because I was aggressive. And I was alienating people, and I was losing relationships. And I didn't want that. So it was that loss that really led me to go to a conflict resolution workshop that actually changed my life. It did. And so, what was amazing for me is that I learned about the word assertion and what it actually meant. And I wish somebody would have told me that a long time ago, because assertion means operating from a place of a set of beliefs that you have some rights. And I'm going to share the rights that I believe that we have as assertive people. And would you please nod your head if you agree? Cool beans. So first one, I believe that I've got a right to be respected just because I'm a human being. And I believe that I've got a right to make mistakes because I'm human and I'm going to mess up. I believe that I've got a right to change my mind. I believe I've got a right to my opinion. And I believe I've got a right to say no. And I believe that I've got a right to look after my own needs and interests, because in fact, if I don't, who will? You guys are picking up what I'm laying down. That's awesome. But you know what? With rights, there's a catch. With rights come responsibility. So if I've got a right to be respected just because I'm human, so do you. If I've got a right to my opinion, to make mistakes, to change my mind, to say no, why heck, so do you. And so I didn't know there was this place where I didn't need to suffer and not get what I wanted or fight for what I wanted, that there's this cool place where we can commune and cooperate and both get what we need. Isn't that awesome? But you know what? Don't think that we have to stay here all the time. Because in 1985, when I graduated from university, I went backpacking in Europe. And I remember the day that I went up to the Eiffel Tower. It was awesome. I was I came down, I had checked something off my bucket list. I was walking along with my little rucksack. I was living the dream. And all of a sudden, there was this gang in front of me, this group of people, turned out to be a gang. And I said, "Bonjour, ça va?" And they started to grab me and they ripped my clothes and they tried to take my rucksack. But don't worry, because I'm a child of the 70s. I had 3 brothers, watched Kung Fu, all-star wrestling, and I was threatened, so I unleashed the Kraken. And I kicked, and I punched, and I ran. And I saved my bacon. Now, normally, I don't recommend people to go around assaulting each other. I don't. But we need to be aware that there's times that there's people in our lives that don't have our best interests in mind. And we need to get ourselves out of those situations and relationships. Aggression. So something else that happens to women is sometimes we come down to this other end of passivity because we like to look after other people's needs. And I'm just wondering, how many of you have small children or grandchildren? How many of you are looking after an elder or someone else who's sick? How many of you have pets? Plants? Don't like to leave anybody out. So when we're down in this end and we're doing these things, we are being passive in that we're looking after other people and putting our own needs second. But being over here is also about love. It's about caring. It's about taking care of your people. But as children grow, I know that we've got to move away from doing everything so that they can grow. And my mother has had dementia for 12 years. And so you can go to the hospital every day for a week. And you can go almost every day for a month. But you can't go every day for a year or a decade. And so we need to move away from fulfilling everybody's needs and move back over to assertion and looking after our own needs, because we get burnt out as women. True that? So I have really spent a lifetime searching for peace. And what I've learned is that peace begins with me. Everything that I say to people, every relationship, every circumstance I can influence by how I interact with people. And I think the best place to create peace is from this mindset of assertion. And it is so amazing because it inspires me to connect with people from a place of curiosity instead of judgment, from a place of inclusion rather than exclusion. It encourages me to listen to people with an empathy, with compassion, with respect. And it encourages me to raise my own voice and share my story and help other people do the same. And nobody needs to suffer in silence. It is a place where we can commune with a loving kindness and really connect as humans are meant to do. It's awesome. But there's still a lot of peacemaking to be done in our families, in our workplaces, and in our communities. And so tonight, I'd like to make you all ambassadors of peace. Are you into that? Could you do that? And so, when you go forth tonight, in this world of ageism and racism and sexism, go out there and spread some loveism, kindism, and respectism. Peace out.